Well, the top focus this evening, the sharp comments, political and social, over the arrest of actor Allu Arjun, who was subsequently granted bail by the Telangana High Court in Hyderabad. There were dramatic scenes this afternoon, even as the Parliament was debating the Constitution, as the Telangana police arrested the star whose Pushpa 2 is blazing the box office. He was arrested from his home in Hyderabad and remanded to judicial custody for 14 days. The arrest was in connection with an FIR filed over the death of a woman and injuries to a child after the actor's arrival at the Sandhya Theatre in Hyderabad for the screening of Pushpa 2 on the 5th of December. An FIR was lodged against the owners and management of the theatre and Allu Arjun, along with his private security, on serious charges of voluntarily causing damage and injury. After his arrest, Allu Arjun had moved the High Court to quash the FIR, and the court, after hearing the case, granted him bail. Strong political reactions as the opposition in Telangana and several voices from the film industry lashed out at the police and the government for treating a national award-winning actor like a criminal. Sandhya Theatre and Allu Arjun's family claim the local police were informed well in advance of the plans for the actor to watch the screening of the movie there. The police, however, claim due information was not given. Let's listen in to all the reactions first before heading further on the story.
Sir, what is your comment on Allu Arjun?
Allu Arjun, please.
पता कर लेके बोलता हूँ
నా కొడుకు మూవీ చూస్తా అంటే ఆ రోజు సంధ్యా థియేటర్లో మూవీకి తీసుకెళ్ళాను. మూవీ చూస్తా అంటేనే తీసుకెళ్ళాను. అక్కడ అల్లు అర్జున్ వచ్చినందుకు ఆయన తప్పేం లేదు. మేమేమైనా ఉంటే దానికి కేసు విత్డ్రా చేసుకోనికి రెడీ ఉన్నా. అది న్యూస్ కూడా నాకు పోలీస్ వాళ్ళు ఏమి ఇన్ఫామ్ చేయలేదు అరెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నట్టు. నేను ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్లో చూసిన, హాస్పిటల్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు మొబైల్ చూసిన ఇట్లా అల్లు అర్జున్ అరెస్ట్ అయ్యాడని. అల్లు అర్జున్కి అయితే ఏం సంబంధం లేదు వచ్చినందుకు. ఏమైనా ఉంటే నేను కేసు విత్డ్రా చేసుకోనికే రెడీ ఉన్నాను.
आई फील जो सेफ्टी प्रोटोकॉल्स है वो हर चीज एक एक्टर सिर्फ अपने ऊपर नहीं ले सकता है. वी कैन टेल पीपल अराउंड अस, जैसे कि हम लोग अभी मैं इसी की बात कर सकता हूँ. सिनेपोलिस ने बहुत अच्छा प्रबंध किया है यहाँ पे एंड वी आर ग्रेटफुल टू देम ऑन दैट. एंड जो हादसा हुआ है वो बहुत दर्दनाक है. वेरी सॉरी, सेंड माई कंडोलेंसेस, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई थिंक जो आप ब्लेम है सिर्फ एक इंसान पे नहीं डाल सकते.
भगदड़ मच गई, एक आदमी की मौत हो गई, लोग घायल हो गए. अब इसमें एक्टर का क्या कसूर है? थिएटर की जिम्मेदारी जो है थिएटर के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की, वो तो एक्टर के हाथ में नहीं है. अगर भगदड़ मची है तो उस क्राउड को कंट्रोल करना तो एक्टर का काम नहीं है. अब अगर यही वजह है गिरफ्तारी की, तो ये वजह मेरी समझ से बाहर है.
Well, strong reactions still coming in on that case. So the question is, should the star have been held accountable, and also the nature of charges that have been filed against the charge. Joining me now before we head to a special panel is Uma Sudhir, who's been tracking the case very closely. Uma, two very important questions. One, was there prior information to the theatre from Allu Arjun and the movie theatre organizers that he was going to watch the movie there at that venue? And two, the nature of case filed against Allu Arjun itself has taken several people by surprise, and some strong reactions coming in on that.
Veera, it's now very obvious that the police did have information about the event. In fact, 48 hours before the premiere was to take place on the 4th of December, there is a letter dated December 2nd that was given by the theatre management authorities to the police, to the ACP of the area, and that very clearly mentions that there will be a premiere show at 9:30 p.m. on December 4, which will be attended not just by Allu Arjun and also lead actress Rashmika Mandana and also several other crew members, it mentions, and it asks for specifically security for that time, and it also mentions that there will be 4 special shows on December 5 as well, and there is a stamp of the police clearly showing that there is an acknowledgement that's been given by the police in this particular case. So they did have information about it. So what happened to that information information, who acted on that information, was permission actually rejected and did Allu Arjun go ahead and arrive at this theatre? All that is not any evidence that the police has put forth in the public domain. I am in fact standing in front of Sandhya Theatre gates, where another show, of course, of the same film is going on. But on that day here, there was huge confusion, huge numbers of people who had gathered. And very obviously, Allu Arjun was not meant to stay here for that long a time, and he was not meant to take he should not have perhaps taken the main entrance to the theatre. Perhaps a rare entrance view could have been given to him for him to come in and exit from there and watch the show along with his fans. If he was going to be present in such a public place with the kind of fan following that he has, it was very obviously going to lead to disaster, and that's exactly what happened with the 35-year-old woman Revati dying. A note that was shared by the police did mention that a security team that was surrounding Allu Arjun on that day had actually pushed the people behind because there was so much of crowd coming towards him. Mind you, during the same time, he actually opened the rooftop of his vehicle and actually emerged from there and interacted with the crowd, enthusing them further, and that only added to the kind of chaos that was already there, leading to that tragic accident that did happen. So now the political reactions that are coming in, suggesting everyone, in a sense, who has commented on this, has actually spoken about how one single actor can be singled out for this. The political leaders have given examples of stampedes that have happened in the past. There have been examples being given where politicians are involved, where film stars are involved, and in none of those cases was liability fixed on a single individual. In fact, the court, the observations of the High Court also are very pertinent in this context, because they speak about why he alone as an actor has been singled out, and doesn't he have a right to life and liberty, and just because he's an actor it cannot be denied. And that's the reason why Allu Arjun has got some kind of a reprieve from the court even after he reached Chenchalguda jail. That's when the orders came, and therefore he is to furnish the bond at the Chenchalguda to the jail superintendent and then return. So several questions being asked. Political reactions from the BRS, BJP, all of them very critical of the Congress government, and within the Congress itself, questions are now being asked about whether the nod to the arrest of Allu Arjun, did it come from a political leadership, or did the police take a call on their own? And if they did, also the attention now being drawn to the fact that it appears, at least as of now, without any additional evidence, that it is the police which failed to give the security. They should have either stopped Allu Arjun from coming here, or they should have provided security. How can the actor be made responsible for not providing adequate measures on the ground to ensure that this does not turn into what it did, a stampede? Back to you.
That's right, Uma. You've raised multiple questions here. Remember, this is not the first time this kind of star frenzy is being seen in cinema overall, in Indian cinema, especially in southern cinema. The first day, first show madness is a well-established fact. It's not something that was not anticipated for a movie of this scale. So multiple questions there, multiple sets of information needed to decide on this matter. The big question this evening, should a star be held accountable for the damage to life and property because of the frenzy that surrounds them? Remember, it's not just the star to blame, the fans too. There are multiple layers to this in South India, where the star frenzy hits a peak on the release of a film, or just when a star comes out on his birthday. Joining us this evening, film critic Rashmi A.R. from Hyderabad, actor Sanjana Galrani, filmmaker Major Ravi from Kerala, one of the southern states which does not see such a frenzy, and former police officer Sanjay Sahai. Mr. Sahai, if I can ask you the question first. Often it's told that if the police had prior information, they should be cordoning off the area, creating crowd control measures, and are held responsible in such cases. Should the star be held responsible from a police officer's point of view if there was prior information in this case, as the actor and the theatre owners are saying, who is to be held responsible for this incident?
See, crowd management is a very, very tricky issue, and in India, it has still not become a very hard-coded sort of an exercise. So, having said that, in this particular situation, what we have seen, that the whole battle goes on whether they were informed or they were not informed. I don't think you can have a battle with the police and the police can defend itself saying that it was not informed. If it was not informed, then why was police presence there? Even leaving the letter aside. And in a movie like Pushpa 2 going for its first screening, if it is unknown to the police, then it becomes a very difficult proposition. And it also gives a feeling that police is unaware of things happening. With regards to Lathi charge, which followed this particular incident and his close protection group pushing people and other things are concerned, which means police presence is there, it is in know of things, and this letter has added fuel to the fire or the anger that police was aware of it and it was looking for a defense. With regards to the actor, now there was a case very recently, I think it was 6th of October, if I'm not mistaken, 6th or 7th of October. It was a Sunday and we had the air show in Chennai. And there, after that, there was a stampede and variety of other things happened. What happens is most of these in crowd management exercises, they miss out on some parameter. And once you miss out on that parameter, when it really comes to the crux of the matter, and when things reach a climax, it goes out of control. And this is precisely what has happened. Coming to the legality of it, I'll deal with whether he only is responsible or what is the whole ecosystem which finally pushes things of this nature to happen. So most important is that it is culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. So how is this section explained? So it is primarily intentionally or recklessly. Okay, after intentionally and recklessly, the punishment part. So this is the definition part. The punishment part says act causing death is done with the intention to cause death. Whether that was there and what is that? Whether the actor appearing onto the scene is the act, or what is that, or the pushing is that, or the security people handling it is that. And the second is act is done with the knowledge. So whether it is intention is knowledge. Correct. So I don't find a prima facie case that Allu Arjun is directly connected to this particular offense. I will call it as a criminal offense. So this criminal connect between the crime and the criminal, I think is one of the most nebulous which I have seen in the recent past.
Important point that you're making there. You're making a very important point about the case that has been filed against the actor, and you've also explained crowd control pressures that the police face. You've explained that this is not just about stars. Major Ravi, from the state of Kerala, where you don't really have so much of this star frenzy, the question that's again being raised, should the stars be held accountable for the frenzy that surrounds them? Often they themselves are victims of the frenzy and often are mobbed at several places without their knowledge. Should they be more responsible? And is it time, largely as a society, we reflect on this kind of star frenzy and say it's perhaps time to move forward from it?
See, I'm coming from a state called Kerala. We don't have the kind of frenzy like the way it is happening in Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu. But here, Allu Arjun's case, let me ask you one thing. When M.G. Ramachandran died in 1987, I happened to be the person who had taken the gun carriage to carry his body to the cremation ground. That time I was a second lieutenant. You can't imagine the kind of people were gathered, and my vehicle was not even moving at a speed of 1 kilometer per hour. And I had my own problems. But then crowd management. Here it is, ironically, in India, all the celebrities don't have any privacy as it is. When you come to the crowd, they will be mobbing you. Now, my friend Mohanlal, so many times he doesn't shake hands with the people nowadays. Why? Because so many times the fans used to keep blade in between their fingers and shake hands, just get the pressure out of hurting him. So this is the kind of problems which these actors are facing. Now today, when M.G. Ramachandran died, in that stampede, there were about 14 to 17 people died. Will you will you hold the responsibility of these things to M.G. Ramachandran? You cannot. So this is quite absurd. Holding the responsibility to Allu Arjun, saying that because of you, the stampede happened and all. No. First of all, you give the privacy to these people. Are you giving the security to these people? Because these kind of fan followers are there. If you go to Hollywood, they got so much of privacy. I was walking in the Hollywood line and Arnold Schwarzenegger was coming just opposite to me. My son was walking with me. He was studying there. He said, Papa, don't even talk to him. Nothing. Because if you talk and if he doesn't like, he got all the right to get you arrested. But in India, we don't have that kind of a privacy for any celebrities for that matter. So this is quite absurd by the government.
So it's time.
This is totally a political move. That is what I can say. Otherwise, this poor guy doesn't believe in. Doesn't have to face all these things.
We don't.
Yes, sir.
In principle, Major Ravi, the point you're making is extraordinarily strong, saying that, look, you cannot blame a star responsible for going out. The question really is that, was it planned? Could he have entered through a back gate, knowing that this is the social reality of the state of Indian cinema? Sanjana Galrani, there are several stars. This is a known fact. They themselves get mobbed. So, should that question also be raised? While the question of why the case against Allu Arjun, why serious charges is extraordinarily important and is being raised, along with that, should the question that should stars be more sensitive, understanding that this is going to be crowd madness? Let me try and negate and avoid and not fuel it. Should that also be a star's responsibility? Sanjana.
This is a one-of-a-kind situation which has happened, which is very, very unfortunate. But today what happened is very dramatizing, and the best part is that he's already got his bail, and above all of us stands the court of law. And in the court, he's got a bail, and the order clearly says that let him live his life. Fair enough, he's a celebrity, but he's not committed a crime by going to the theatre, which is so fair on the part of the judge who has given this particular dictate. I really appreciate and salute to the judge, because at the end of the day, he's also a human being. Doesn't he have the rights to go and see his own film? Has he really gone, taken some guns and shot over there, and he's bombed a place and somebody died? Somebody died with a very unfortunate stampede situation, which was unexpected. From his first film till today, all his films he has gone and he's seen it in theatre. And we all work hard for that. We want to see where the audience are seeing us. They're clapping, on which scene they are whistling, on which scene they are more entertained, on which scene they are dancing. That's why they go to the local theatres, and you don't get that local theatre experience in the Inox or these gold classes, That's the reason a star goes there. We live for that day. We live for that day of appreciation and claps by the people. Don't we have the rights to go live? And this was just so cinematic. ये तो सच में पुष्पा की shooting चल रही थी. Today morning, the cop straight barges into his bedroom like if this person is some terrorist who has done some 50 murders and will escape and run away from his own house. For God's sake, this is highly dramatizing, and this country has no boundaries to draw when it comes to celebrities, be it Aryan Khan, be it Allu Arjun. The law is just the certain police officers, not all of them in the country. I respect the police a lot, but certain police officers just know how to gimmickily get their names on the headlines. They just want to have their collars up saying, "Oh, मैंने Allu Arjun को आज arrest किया. देखो, मैं सबसे great police officer हूँ." तो उनको दिखाना है अपना जो रुबाब है, because this is a golden opportunity. Even if they file 1,000 FIRs, their name will not be in the news for those 1,000 FIRs. But if you arrest that one Allu Arjun, doesn't matter if he gets the bail the same day and the case does not stand in the court of law, it doesn't matter. But what matters is that particular cop makes the headlines. He becomes a superstar. He becomes a real Pushpa of the people.
It's a very, very important point that you're making.
Yes.
No, Sanjana, you're making a very, very important point from a star's point of view about liberty. Accepted all the points. Reshmi, we've heard all three of the panelists make their points emphatically on this matter. Ultimately, there is a question of the star's right to go watch a movie, but then the star also benefits from this frenzy and often fuels it. Is there any responsibility with the star at all? Or would you also agree with the rest of the panelists that he is at liberty to go watch his movie, and it's about crowd control and other mechanisms that need to be put in place to protect the people?
Is he at liberty to go and watch his movie? Yes, definitely. But he can't be choosing a single screen theater. I agree with Sanjana that yes, actors live for the day, but there are other ways. See, one thing is that he could have been more responsible because he knows the kind of mob that is going to assemble. Because we have been told that there were also people, the public, they just barged in without even buying tickets the moment they got to know that Allu Arjun was there. So, of course, he didn't anticipate that such a tragedy would happen, but that was very unfortunate. But he could have been a little more responsible and probably avoided, also considering the fact that, Pushpa 2 was the most anticipated movie. And also, as much as fans love them, I think they also love all that adulation and hero worship that comes with it.
Okay. So that's an important point. Let me just get a last word from Sanjana. Since you made an emphatic point, Sanjana, all points taken, your liberty, all of it accepted. You have the right to go watch a movie, but then you also benefit enormously from that same kind of fan craze. Does a star not have the responsibility to tell his fans, this craze is madness, I will not allow you to fuel it, please don't come to see me? In this manner, is it not also the star's social responsibility to say? Last question to you.
Arjun has been in the film industry from 2004, 2005, and every film he's gone to the theatre to see the film. Just the same thing had happened in Vadodara with Shah Rukh Khan as well. Shah Rukh Khan is in the film industry for over 4 decades, but there was one situation one day when one fan got killed in stampede in Vadodara in Gujarat, if I'm not wrong. That doesn't mean Shah Rukh Khan is not meeting his fans today. That doesn't mean he doesn't come out in Mannat and wave at people. He's standing and waving over there. What can you do if there's a stampede down? You can't do anything about it. Sometimes unfortunate things happen out of control.
Okay.
A star is a star. A star is not a supreme miraculous God to
Okay.
control the situation. And it's not a deliberate intention. See, the court order talks for itself. Bail has happened on the same day.
That's right.
So this is just a built-up case to just attack a star, to just get benefited from the title of, oh great, we have arrested Allu Arjun. This is just a made-up case. If the case has... the court by itself has given bail on the same day, you can understand how wrong this case is.
So
The court order speaks for itself.
You've made strong points. All of you have made strong points, but I think it's an important issue to address and discuss both from a sociological perspective, more importantly from the legal point of view on whether Allu Arjun is being targeted is a question that's been raised by several people.
Absolutely.
Obviously, this conversation will keep going on, but thanks very much to Major Ravi, Sanjana Galrani, Reshmi, as well as Sanjay Sahai for joining us on the show this evening. That's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. News and updates and the focus on the Allu Arjun case will continue right here on NDTV.